I never imagined a minor illness would turn into the most devastating day of my life. That afternoon, I left work early, drained and aching from what I thought was just a bad case of the flu. All I wanted was to get home, crawl into bed, and rest. But what I came home to changed everything. As I pulled into the driveway, I noticed a truck parked out front. It wasn't familiar. Something about it immediately unsettled me, but I tried to reason with myself. Maybe it was a delivery or someone fixing something around the house. I had no reason to be suspicious. At least, not yet. Inside, everything was still, too still. The kind of silence that doesn't feel peaceful. It feels wrong. I called out, "Angela?" No answer. I moved toward the bedroom, and that's when I heard it. Faint sounds, muffled voices, then a low moan. My stomach clenched. A cold sweat coated my skin, and for a second, I forgot all about being sick. My body was reacting to something else entirely. A voice inside my head urged me, "Don't look. You don't want to see what's behind that door." But I had to know. I had to see it for myself. I inched the door open just enough to see inside. And there she was, Angela, my wife of 20 years, lying in bed with a man I had never seen before. At first, my mind refused to believe it. I stood frozen, watching the woman I had loved so deeply, the same woman I'd built my life around, now tangled in another man's arms, completely lost in the moment. Then I heard her voice, breathless, filled with desire. "Oh, God, yes, right there." Something cracked inside me. My hand shook. My throat closed up. I wanted to scream, to rip the door off its hinges, to demand answers. But instead, a strange calm came over me, cold and sharp. I took out my phone, snapped a few photos, not out of spite, but because I needed proof. Proof that I wasn't dreaming. Proof that the life I thought I had just died. I didn't barge in. I didn't shout. I backed away, quietly, carefully, like I was walking away from a crime scene. In the garage, my eyes landed on a screwdriver. Acting on instinct more than reason, I grabbed it and plunged it into the tires of the truck parked outside. It was childish, maybe even petty, but in that moment, it was all I had. I climbed into my own car and drove. Tears blurred my vision. My heart pounded with betrayal. 20 years. Gone. Just like that. The aftermath. That night, I checked into a motel across town. Angela called. Again and again. I didn't answer. What was there to say? "I'm sorry"? Words like that had lost all meaning. The next morning, I called work. "I won't be in for a few days." I told them. Personal reasons. Then I called a lawyer. I emptied my bank account. I began making plans. When I returned home days later, I had already decided exactly what I needed to do. Angela was in the kitchen. Her eyes were red and puffy, cheeks streaked with tears. "Daniel, please," she said, voice trembling. "We need to talk." I looked at her, my face expressionless. There's nothing left to say. I saw everything. I stood there and watched you with him. She recoiled, crying harder. "I made a mistake. He meant nothing to me. I love you." I laughed, not because it was funny, but because the words sounded so absurd. A mistake? I repeated. Forgetting a birthday is a mistake. Burning dinner is a mistake. What you did wasn't a mistake. It was a decision. She reached out to touch me, desperate. "Please don't leave. We can fix this." I don't know what I was thinking. I needed something different, something exciting. But it didn't mean anything. "I still love you. I still need you." I stepped back. "I don't need you anymore." Her sobs turned into wails. "It was just sex, Daniel. I don't love him. I love you." I turned away. "Then maybe you should have remembered that before you threw away 2 decades of marriage." A new chapter. The following weeks blurred into a stream of paperwork, moving boxes and long, silent nights. I left our home, quit my job, started over. For the first time in years, I had no obligations, no expectations, just freedom. Then, when I least expected it, I met someone new, Michelle. She had kind eyes and a quiet strength that drew me in. She, too, had been betrayed. She, too, had been left broken, and together, somehow, we began to heal. Piece by piece, I found my way back to something I thought I'd lost forever: peace. Angela's betrayal didn't mark the end of my story. It was the beginning of a different one. Months later, standing beside Michelle on a mountaintop, her hand in mine, I looked out at the endless sky and felt something I hadn't felt in a long time: hope. Sometimes life rips everything apart, so you can find the parts of yourself you didn't even know were missing. And for that, I was grateful.